Hi guys. Okay, I want to try to explain as eloquently as possible how this area is supposed to work. Typing this would be a pain in the ass, so let's get started. The problem right now with Crossroads, it's not a problem, it's just an observation that we could definitely make better, is that the way this map works is most games get split horizontally. Okay? By horizontally, I mean like this. This guy will own the top, this guy will own the bottom, and then there's some attempts to break in to the sides by both players. What we're trying to do is make both sides viable. And when this player exits his base here, he's got green cover patches as he approaches these points here. Likewise with the south. Let me make this a little bit bigger. Likewise with the south, this player as he approaches has green cover pieces as they approach this area. Now they can also take the area that has less green cover, right? This is all yellow. Likewise here, this is yellow. Sorry. But historically, vertically, there was a small piece of green cover here, asymmetric. That little guy and nothing else. And there was a small piece of asymmetric green cover here and nothing else. Part of what was causing the problem was that there weren't hedgerows correctly positioned. This hedgerow had a gap so you could come in here. This was all wide open at first. Now, with this hedgerow here and here, and this hedgerow here and here, there's more opportunities to move around these objects. And this has also been pushed back significantly. There's a lot more opportunity to move around these objects in flanking maneuvers, offensively and defensively. Now, to get to the point about the green cover, there's green cover, asymmetric green cover at these two positions. Now, one of the perceived problems here is that, well, there's a couple. It's funny, I'm getting opposite ends of the spectrum with regards to how effective this stuff is, which tells me people aren't exactly sure yet. The reality is that you've got these hedges here and here, okay? The defensive player as they move in and they're trying to deal with this area are going to have this player coming from the north, for example. Okay, these positions are intended to be jumping off points where you can queue up troops here, maybe on this yellow cover, maybe on the point. And then from these positions, you can choose, there's also a side blocker here, how to employ your attack, right? You might utilize this green cover. You might come through this hedgerow because these are here. And this basically gives you options. If these areas are wide open like this, the guy from the south can counterattack and really push you off, thus negating the whole point of making this vertical split possible, okay? And again, I want to emphasize, there's green cover options and sight blocker options on the horizontal approaches, but there weren't on the vertical. So in order to mitigate this, these jumping off points are there to help that. Now, one thing that people are going to do very often, and we've already seen this in games, is they're going to wire this off. And when they wire this off, there's really no more places to jump off from unless we make a point like this, which is in a further defensive position. Now, players hitting this cutoff should not be that much of an issue still because you have this hedgerow. Now, what this hedgerow is going to do is, for the player coming this way, if these boxes get destroyed and they want to post up here, this hedgerow is still going to give them the option to go around and flank that position. That is the same if the hedgerow's here and someone's posted up on this position, okay? You've got a hedgerow here, so you have options for attack. A lot of people are going to want to come in through here, but if they're posting up heavily on here, you have more options, and these objects aren't that far away from each other to make these maneuvers possible. Everything I'm saying about the south is also true in the north, of course. You've got the hedgerow, and you've got this cover, So you have options on both sides depending on who owns the cover. So the hedgerow is key as a key component to this whole design. So again, these are jump off points for the guy trying to assault south or north, depending on the side, because we're trying to make these sides viable for both sides. That was a big reason that the munis got pushed over the way that they got pushed over, because there's more resources and there's more incentive to push in these vertical directions, okay? That's the crux of what we're trying to do here. I want this to be set up in a way that is similar to Nexus, not in the fundamental, not in the tactical design, but in the strategic design, where when you're coming from the south, it really is viable to go either way, right? Likewise for the north, you need to be able to look at this as a player and say, are both of these directions viable? And part of this is making these points, the VPs and the fuels, equidistant from both bases, which they are. This perspective doesn't really show that, but they are equidistant. So this is the crux of the fixes and what we're trying to do here. I appreciate all the feedback, guys, and looking forward to watching more replays on this so we can tighten this up a bit more. But this looks promising. And I think we're moving in the right direction. So thank you.